Located in Southeast Asia, Myanmar holds over 53 million individuals. However, despite the rich historical and environmental background, according to Globe, over 41% of the population does not have access to electricity, the highest percentage in Asia, forestalling the growth of Myanmar's growing economy and power. In fact, the MOE confirmed that Myanmar is generating electricity at an annual loss of more than K23 per unit of electricity produced. Therefore, with a demographic of 22 million with no electricity, Myanmar is required to increase from 3,300 megawatts to 46,000 megawatts by 2030. Fortunately, there are two options for a solution: a local microgrid and a national electrical grid. The electrical grids have to go through several processes before distribution. It starts off by generating electricity through coal and non-renewable resources. It then passes through the step-up transformer to increase the voltage and reduce the current for efficient transfer of electricity and therefore less energy lost in heating. Finally, it goes through the step-down transformer to reduce the voltage for individual safety. Meanwhile, similar to the system of national grids, microgrids, though, are localized plants which generate substantial electricity for the consumer and are generated by renewable resources like solar energy. Because Myanmar has mired sunlight, the solar power grids would be the most efficient. The electric one is directly connected to the power grid, which converts sun into energy through direct current, where the current flows in the same direction. It is then sent to an inverter to change from DC photovoltaic solar panel outputs to 240 V alternating current, where the voltage and current direction are constantly switching to give it the maximum and efficiently produce electricity. Similarly, LG explained that microgrids follow the same process. However, it is more efficient as it needs not to rely on the national grids, as they are small-scale electrical networks that supports its primary connected buildings, meaning that it can provide more and faster energy whilst making it safe to use and readily alter the voltage setting. Furthermore, because the microgrid is the ideal product for remote areas as it is small yet efficient in its electricity generation and production, there are, however, main factors like economics to consider. To begin with the advantages, microgrids are cheaper to control. Because this is a small grid, minimal items and payments will be required. This means limited maintenance is needed as they are easier to reach out to and repair. With a matrix value of 3, this would benefit many communities as they can easily come together and pay for this without having to worry too much about additional payments for the tools and individual manpower. Additionally, microgrids produce low electricity bills, and minding that the government's paying too, this suggests that individuals would only have to pay at least $10, making this the most cost-effective as users are able to control their energy cost and usage whilst being assured that it produces enough electricity, hence an MVF2. However, there are some disadvantages, including the fact that it is still expensive to purchase, costing over $2 million, and that more payments are needed from this developing nation to get microgrids to over 40% of the nation, of which are mostly in remote places. Mired equipment is needed to transport the product, therefore leading to an MVF1. Meanwhile, with such a small structure, microgrids tend to be extremely sensitive to weather conditions in remote areas, hence needing to pay for extra repairs, which can be a waste of money, making this non-efficient, thus having a matrix value of 1. Nevertheless, as seen with the ratio 5:2, it is clear that the advantages outweigh the negatives, making microgrids more reliable for Myanmar in terms of their government and citizens' economical situation, as they are affordable to sustain their daily lives. Ultimately, according to Reuters, with such economical advantages and the fact that microgrids are more reliable, since it includes batteries creating backup generators that don't need to rely on the city, in the case of a power outage being frequent in Myanmar, the microgrid is a sustainable, environmentally friendly product that reduces CO2 emissions. In comparison to the national grid, not only does it cause pollution, but Vox scientists also stated that it is vulnerable to rough weather conditions that jeopardize the safety of individuals, as it can cause electrocution and even fire, making this not ideal to build on in tropical nations with unpredictable weather and their surrounding environment, and with limited infrastructure to transport these large, expensive materials and equipments. Therefore, by using microgrids that are portable, economical, and optimal for Myanmar, it will help to increase their productivity, hence augmenting their economic power and quality of life.